Durag Wisdom, folks, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 17.10.09. And here's one of my favorite quotes: "Give me liberty or give me death." And that's from Patrick Henry. And the title of today's broadcast, or the theme of today's broadcast, is "I am with the protesting athletes." Not that that's going to help them much, but I'm with them. No more flag saluting, no more displaying of my flag, no more saying the pledge, no more singing or standing during the national anthem until the dotard, the racist, the birther, the liar, the traitor, the tax evader, the creepitant Don Adolf Trump Putin is flushed out of our lives. This is a great country that also has, sadly, a dark side that must be exposed and then expunged. White European civilization invaded a new world as sure as Martians invaded the Earth in H.G. Wells' classic War of the Worlds. Europeans brought their modern weapons and unknown diseases to this new world, to ours, to where we are now, followed by their cursed, pernicious, genocidal religions, which fundamentally wiped out the original cultures of the unexplored lands. I like to think about that sometimes, how sad that is. Present-day American Indian Leonard Peltier is rotting away in a federal prison for a crime that he did not commit. And he would have been a free man today if it wasn't for the tradition of racism, disenfranchisement, persecution, and genocide brought to the Americas by the white invaders. Not satisfied with massacring the native peoples of the lands that these fiends invaded, they occupied the land, claimed it as their own, and brought in black people to slave until death to support their money-driven culture and fecal stains of religious persecution. That's right. Whether Nazi Trump and his KKK corduroy want to believe it or not, Muslims have been in this country since before its beginning. Brought here by white slavers who forcibly converted many of their captives to their own religion. You don't believe me? Look it up. I want you to fact check me. Everything I say here, please, I beg you, fact check me. They even had the nerve, these Europeans, to turn Jesus into a white European, when in fact, he was a dark-skinned Middle Eastern Jew. This country of ours reached a great height when it elected its first African American president. But we flushed it down the toilet after the 8 years. The fecal-stained toilet, I must add, when we put the racist fiend Trump into office. I'm not afraid to say it, folks. We have a white supremacist as president of our country. I call him the creepitant. I don't accept it, but that's what he is. And he promotes white supremacist terror, domestic terror. And I want to add, I am not prejudiced against white people. I am white, even though the white supremacists don't consider me so because I'm a Jew! A Jew! This whites-only country has been persecuting people of color and immigrants for centuries. And the fight for this nation, the fight in this nation also has mostly been a racial one. If you read our Second Amendment, it has nothing to do with every single psycho in this nation having the right to own a gun. It deals with the formation of state militias. I believe that if someone wishes to own a gun, including me, they should be forced to join a militia, a bona fide militia that is sponsored legally by each state, not these illegal white supremacist militias. There should be state militias. And they should be, people who want to own these firearms, including me, should be required to join these militias and attend basic training. That's right. All of us, everybody, including me, who needs to think they need to own a weapon for protection or whatever. The intention of the Second Amendment was that states should protect themselves from the federal government in case it goes rogue, like this one is doing. Not that every psycho in this country can own a weapon. And you got to remember, back in those days, they were muskets. Shoot and then load. Shoot and then load. Not automatic freaking machine guns and atomic weapons. But the reason our Second Amendment is interpreted the way it is because the Southerners at that time, not now, I'm not talking about now, the Southerners at that time were slave owners. And when the black people were freed, they were afraid of revenge. They were afraid that these folks were going to come after them for doing stuff like, if you were a slave owner, raping people's kids, their wives, selling them, whipping them, murdering them, experimenting on them maybe, whatever they wanted to do, because this culture of slavery treated people as if they were nothing, that they were not even human. The GOP has been working for years to reach this point. And we must stand in their way or see the end of our nation. My father came back damaged from World War II mortal combat. He died at the age of 46. This was a tragedy. But I'm glad that he did not live to see the day that a Nazi, that's right, I'm not afraid to say it. We have to say it. A Nazi was made president of our country. I proudly flew my flag for the 8 years that Obama was president. I stood for the pledge and for our national anthem. But now we have racist traitors in charge who have used our laws to gain power. Just think of gerrymandering, which the Supreme Court, the right-wing Supreme Court's working on now. Citizens United, big money in our political system. And voter suppression. Not voter fraud. GOP engendered voter suppression, you Trump-Putin shitheads! I'm not talking to my subscribers, I'm talking to Trump-Putin shitheads. These are tools. These three things. The tools of the GOP, Trump-Putin racist and religious extremist totalitarianism. The Handmaid's Tale coming soon to our local lives. And if these racist turds are in power, turds who are bound and determined to bring back lynching, murder, and slavery, I will not fly my flag or stand for the anthem. Creeping in Trump, religious extremist Pence, you don't like it? Cracker Sessions, fuck you! My flag and my anthem are important to me and must be shielded. Also, from the fiends that stand totally against it. I am with the protesting athletes.